Hello, my name is Taylor Day, and I'm here to talk to you about diversity in literature. My assignment was to find 3 books and to describe the different types of diversities in these books. The first book I chose was When Charlie Met Emma. This was written by Amy Webb and illustrated by Mary Lee Ledard. I believe that this book would be great for kindergarten through 4th graders. This is a sweet story about how Charlie learns the importance about being different and that it's okay to be different. He learned that it's rude to use words like weird to describe people that are not like him. He also introduces people with physical defects, and it also gets their view about how they feel when people stare, point, or laugh at them. In the book, you can see the illustrations are really colorful and it really shows the emotions. In the book, Charlie himself is different in that he likes to sit by himself and draw. He doesn't always like to be around his friends. At the park one day, he meets a girl who's in a wheelchair and she doesn't have any arms. At first, without even thinking, he said, "Ooh, she's weird," and his mom quickly shushes him and tells him that different isn't weird, sad, bad, or strange. Different is different, and different is okay. Throughout the book, you see other illustrations of children that are deaf and can't talk. You see some other children look different than them, and it's okay to be different. An idea I had for pairing this book would to allow students themselves to pick a trait or a body part or a difference that makes them unique from their classmates. I would allow them to write that trait on a balloon or whatever they wanted to put on the balloon. And the next morning, I thought I could rent a helium tank and have them stuff that writing into the balloon and then blow it up. After we blow them up, we can take it outside and talk about what we wrote. And after everybody had a chance to speak up, I thought it would be pretty cool and a cool visualization that we released them. And the quote that kind of stuck out to me was, "Everybody has something about them that makes them different, but it's all of the differences and colors that makes this world a beautiful and interesting place." The second book I chose was The Proudest Blue by Abiyat Haj Muhammad, illustrated by Hatam Ali and contributions by S.K. Ali. I think this story would go well with children in 2nd through 6th grade. The story revolves around the first day of school between a younger sister and her older sister wearing her hijab for the first time. The younger sister is so excited that her sister is wearing the most beautiful blue hijab and is learning about when people may bully her older sister because of her beliefs and her clothing. We learn some wise tips on how to approach bullies and letting things go, sticking together, and staying true to yourself. And the illustrations are so imaginative and so beautiful, and it also shows some pretty cool movement. As you can see, the illustrations are deep and colorful. I highly recommend reading this book. The activity I chose would be poem writing, and I just believe poem writing is personal, silly, fun, and it's a break from everyday assignments. Though the content of the story is deep, the imagery is memorizing. In the text, the author mentions that her sister's hijab is a bunch of different things. The hijab reminds her of the sky. It's important. It looks like the ocean. It's special. It's not a whisper. It's blue. It's like the sky, and it's strong. I'd like to see my students use the author's craft for this that pertains to them, whether it be an article of clothing, a laugh, a smile, or something. And I think the activity would go well with 2nd to 6th graders. It just depends on how much scaffolding you choose to give them. The last book I chose was Dear Primo, A Letter to My Cousin by Duncan Tonatiuh. Dear Primo is written by a first-time Mexican author and illustrator, and the story follows the lives of 2 cousins separated by miles or borders. One of the cousins live in New York City and the other one lives in Mexico. I believe this story would be best for kindergarten to second graders. It describes and labels different everyday objects in English and Spanish, and it talks about how their lives are different but yet still similar. Children can learn letter writing, literal versus non-literal figurative language, and similarities and differences. And in the illustration, you can see what that corn is maize and a donkey is a burro, so forth and so forth. The pictures are really colorful, and I have used this story with my second graders. My hands-on activity would be letter writing to relatives. Letter writing is an activity that could soon be seen as unnecessary and wasteful, and I would make it a point to have my students brainstorm and pick out a family member that they could write to. And hey, I wouldn't mind sending those letters all the way to their relative. Well, there you have it. That is my project on different diverse books that you could share in your classroom. Thank you. Have a good night.